Teamwork skills. Teamwork is one of the most sought-after skills in the workplace. Advancements in technology have allowed companies to be more connected and collaborative than ever before, with a diverse workforce dispersed around the world. Now is the perfect time to start practicing your teamwork skills. Group work is an integral part of your academic leadership abilities. Communication. The ability to get your point across and truly understand what other people want to tell you is the cornerstone of effective teamwork. It doesn't matter if you communicate in person, via email writing, instant messages, or on the phone, the exchange of information must be effective regardless of the medium. Plus, the nonverbal aspects of communication are just as important. Great teams nurture a culture of openness and mutual trust. Everyone must feel safe enough to speak their mind. Decision making. Making decisions may seem like a pretty straightforward thing to do. And that's the case when everyone agrees on the course of action. But everything changes when opinions start to differ and you need to make an unpopular decision. What distinguishes great team players from the average ones is the ability to see the big picture, put their egos aside, and work towards the common goal. Organizational and planning skills. To solve any problem effectively and efficiently, you must be able to devise a master plan that every team member understands, follows, and knows where it leads to. Once the plan is agreed upon, all team members will be able to organize their tasks, establish deadlines, and orchestrate their efforts. Word power 5. Speculate vocabulary. Deity word theories. Motivation. Money. Entertainment. Controlling. The mentally alert person is not content to live merely from day to day, completely circumscribed by such things: food, money, clothing, and entertainment. Occasionally they are tempted to speculate of why they are living and what the controlling forces of their lives are. This video deals with a few of the terms that are applied to these motivating forces by different people who have varying points of view. Is there a God? Nothing so closely approaches the outer limits of abstraction as theorizing about a supernatural and supreme being. Many of us worship, most of at least accept, some form of deity. Do you belong to a minority who insist, often belligerently, that man makes God in his own image, that God is a figment of the imagination and hence completely, irrevocably non-existent? Then you are an atheist and your philosophy is called atheism. The word is from the Greek a, without, and theos, God. To many other thinkers it seems more reasonable to say the existence or non-existence of a supreme being is one mystery the human mind will never fathom. How did the world become into being? How did life begin? Is there a father who looks after his children, or are we the purposeless chance? Do you answer these questions by saying that no one knows and no one can ever hope to know? Then you are an agnostic, and your doctrine is called agnosticism. This word too is from the Greek, derived from agnostos, not knowing. Why did that young child dart across the roadway just as a huge truck rounded the bend? How do you explain the needless snuffing out of an innocent life? Is it due to blind chance? To cause and effect? Why should some great benefactor of humanity be cut off in their prime? Are such events controlled by accident? Or are they determined by fate? Fate, incidentally, is derived from the Latin fatus, spoken or predicted. If you believe that everything that happens is predetermined, foreordained, written down, as it were, on the far-off pages of some mighty volume, you are a fatalist and your theory is called fatalism. In this world of ours you will find some people who think only of themselves and of their own selfish advantage, and who actually maintain that all virtue consists in the pursuit of self-interest. Completely indifferent to the needs, feelings, or wishes of others, they base their actions on personal gain and direct benefit. They believe in, and are motivated by, egoism. A member of such a cult is an egoist. These words, characteristically, derive from the Latin ego, L. If your characteristics are opposite to those of an egoist, if you have an unselfish regard for and devotion to the interests and needs of others, then that practice is an altruist and you practice altruism. The relationship of this word to the Latin alter, other, is clear. Can you rise above petty considerations of pleasure and pain, joy and grief? Can you meet adversity with indifference and submit to the arrows and slings of misfortune with a dignified resignation? Can you give up envy, greed, jealousy, hatred, and other human passions? Can you suffer mental and physical pain without complaint? If you can honestly say yes to these questions, and if you sincerely believe that such self-control makes for a better way of life, that is called a Stoic, a practitioner of Stoicism. The founder of Stoicism was the Greek philosopher Zeno, who lived about 300 years before Christ. Stoic is from the Greek stoikos, which, in turn, is from stoa, porch. Zeno taught in the Stoa Poikile, or painted porch, in Athens. Are you apt to say, no other nation can hold a candle to my country? We are the supermen, the chosen people. Every other race is inferior to mine and they are all destined to be our slaves when the day comes? This is not patriotism. Or rather, it is patriotism carried to an illogical and ludicrous extreme. If you happen to talk this way, this is known as a chauvinist. You are addicted to chauvinism. These terms come from the name of a real man, Nicolas Chauvin of Rochefort, who was so demonstrative in his devotion to Napoleon and to the imperial cause that he was ridiculed on the French stage at the time. Are you a braggart about your country's power? Do you always want your nation to use force? Do you want to call out the Army, Navy, and Air Force on the slightest provocation, and send our soldiers and sailors around the world to show those damn foreigners who's the boss? Do the other nations want war? You ask. We'll give it to them. And if they don't want it, we'll give it to them anyway. If this is a description of your philosophy, you are a jingoist, and your heart beats in tune with the martial music of jingoism. The Jingos were originally a section of the Conservative Party in England in 1877 who were eager to have their nation support the Turks in the Russo-Turkish War. Is it best that your government follow the political faith, methods, and tenets of our fathers and grandfathers, or shall we move rapidly ahead, change constantly, explore and experiment? Those who believe in liberalism follow the latter philosophy. They owe allegiance to no party, are independent in thought and action, and are always anathema to those who wish the government to pursue the well-trodden paths. Liberals prefer a changing, dynamic, experimenting government. They vote for progress sometimes in the sense that anything new and different and previously untried is progressive. The Romans gave us the word liber, free. The conservative, on the other hand, is opposed to change. He believes that what is best. He prefers that his government follow familiar, tried, tested, and safe policies. We're content with what we have. They say. Why take the risk of sailing into uncharted waters? The word derives from Latin conservare, to preserve. An extreme liberal is a radical, an extreme conservative is a reactionary. What type of life is best? To one group of thinkers, such a question has a simple answer. That life is the most successful, says the Epicurean, which brings to each person the maximum of pleasure and the minimum of pain. The doctrine of Epicureanism teaches that pleasure is the chief good. Epicurean should not be confused with epicure, one who enjoys the delight of the table, and who is expert and fastidious in his choice of food. Ready for a check on your learning and retention? What philosophy is expressed by each of the following statements? 1. I'm interested in the welfare of the other fellow, not in my own. 2. Let the other fellow take care of himself. My interests come first, and always. 3. Mine is the superior race. Have we not the monopoly on beauty, strength, brains, creativeness, honesty, virtue, and bravery? 4. Let's not stand still in politics. Progress, change, experimentation, that's what we need. 5. Happiness, pleasure, fun, revelry. These are the most important things in life. 6. There's a God? Don't be silly. Only followers of imagination believe in God. 7. Maybe there is a God. Maybe there isn't. I don't know, and I don't believe anybody else does or ever will. 8. The wise and brave man is indifferent to both pain and pleasure. 9. We'll build up our nuclear power, our troops, and our navy, we'll arm to the hilt. Then we'll dare any nation in the world to knock the chip off our shoulder. 10. You can't change the future. It's all planned and written down. 11. Let's keep things just as they are. We're getting along all right, so why fool around with any dangerous half-baked newfangled theories? Answers: 1. Altruist, 2. Egoist, 3. Chauvinist, 4. Liberal, 5. Epicurean, 6. Atheist, 7. Agnostic, 8. Stoic, 9. Jingoist, 10. Fatalist, 11. Conservative. Nouns and their adjectives. Altruism, altruistic. Atheism, atheistic. Agnosticism, agnostic. Fatalism, fatalistic. Egoism, egoistic. Stoicism, stoical. Chauvinism, chauvinistic. Jingoism, jingoistic. Liberalism, liberal. Conservatism, conservative. Epicureanism, Epicurean. Can you fit the correct adjective in each of the following phrases or sentences? 1. The attitude of the ungodly. 2. The doubts of the skeptical. 3. Age tends to bring a tinge to one's politics. 4. Politically, youth is inclined to be. 5. The flavor of Oriental religions. 6. The narrow desires of the conceited. 7. The resignation of those who have suffered much. 8. The blatancy of professional flag wavers. 9. The desires of the self-indulgent. 10. Threats, saber rattling, and a call-up of the reserves. Hate often been the means by which strong nations have imposed their will on their weaker neighbors. 11. The attitudes of most parents to their children. Answers: 1. Atheistic, 2. Agnostic, 3. Conservative, 4. Liberalistic, 5. Fatalistic, 6. Egoistic, 7. Stoical, 8. Chauvinistic, 9. Epicurean, 10. Jingoistic, 11. Altruistic. True or false? Finally, to make these words an integral part of your thinking and speaking vocabulary, try this exercise. Can you react immediately to each statement as either essentially true or generally false? Read each statement quickly, once only, then check it once with the answer you trust. The altruist hates people. 2. An atheist is a steady churchgoer. 3. The agnostic is deeply religious. 4. A fatalist never takes chances. 5. An egoist wants to help his fellow man. 6. The stoic becomes hysterical under the stress of tragedy or disaster. 7. Chauvinists often switch their allegiance to other nations. 8. A jingoist is interested in peace at any cost. 9. A political liberal shies away from innovation. 10. A political conservative believes in greatly enhanced federal power. 11. An Epicurean pursues a life of austerity and self-denial. Answers. All statements, of course, are outrageously false.
Are you checking your welfare?
Officer down, officer down.
7, are you saying that the deputy's unresponsive or the suspect?
Both.